How are we seeing this so differently? Here's what nobody tells you. The problem isn't your communication skills. It's not even your relationship. It's the fact that you and every person you've ever argued with are watching completely different movies. And if you're in the middle of something like that right now, a relationship that feels like it's caving in, or something that's already ended and you're still trying to make sense of it, this isn't just theory. Understanding why this happens is what changes how you show up in every conversation that comes after it. I'm not going to tell you the conflict goes away, but I'm going to show you why it becomes something you can actually work with. And that's what fixable looks like. So here's what we're covering today. 3 things. Why the people you love most can still feel like strangers in a conflict. The one perceptual shift that makes genuine curiosity possible even when you're frustrated. And a practice that you can use the next time you feel judgment rising before it costs you the conversation. Here's the idea. Every person you've ever met is living inside their own film. Your version of life, your film, was shaped by everything that happened to you, your family, your culture, the way you were taught to handle emotion, what you were praised for, what you were punished for, what love looked like in your house. And the person across from you in a conflict, they have their own film, just as real, just as internally consistent. The conflict isn't really between you and them, it's between 2 films running at the same time in the same room with no subtitles. Think about 2 people on a project together. Say one grew up in a family where conflict was avoided at all costs. Disagreement felt dangerous, so in meetings, she holds back. She waits to see where the room lands before she speaks. The other grew up in a house where everyone talked over each other, where being loud meant you cared. So he jumps in, he pushes back, he voices ideas freely. She reads him as aggressive. He reads her as disengaged. And neither of them is wrong. They're both doing exactly what their film taught them to do. What if the problem isn't who they are, but which film they're stuck watching? That's the thing about relationship conflict. Most of it isn't personal. It feels personal, but what's actually happening is 2 sets of conditioning meeting in the same room and reacting to each other. That's not a personality clash. That's 2 films with no subtitles, and neither of them signed up for that. You don't. We don't. So I had a version of this in my own life. I had a colleague, and I won't get into specifics, but he held views that I found genuinely disturbing, and every time he came up, I felt this low-level anger. I was judging everything he said through the lens of those views. And then one day, I just made myself look past it, and what I saw was someone passionate, collaborative, generous with their time, someone who cared deeply just about different things, shaped by a completely different life than mine. I didn't agree with him, that part didn't change, but my anger did. And by the way, that's not tolerance, that's not excusing anything. That's what happens when you stop watching someone else's film through the rules of your own. What if what I was reacting to had almost nothing to do with him and almost everything to do with my own film? Your judgment of the people in your life is almost always a reflection of your own movie's rules. So that wasn't insight, that was conditioning, just looking in a mirror. Here's what curiosity actually requires. Not argument, not approval, not letting someone off the hook for how they treated you. It requires one question. So before you react, before you decide what someone's behavior means, ask yourself, what movie are they watching? A partner who goes quiet during conflict isn't shutting you out. They might have grown up in a house where raised voices meant something was about to break. Or a friend who avoids plans isn't being flaky. They might have had years of feeling overwhelmed by social situations that they've never truly resolved. Or a family member who always argues might have spent their whole childhood needing to fight just to be heard. And this is important. I'm not asking you to excuse behavior that crosses your limits. I'm asking you to understand what's driving it, because that understanding is what actually changes the conversation. So here's a practice. The next time you feel yourself labeling someone difficult, impossible, too sensitive, just notice that that label appeared. You didn't choose it, it came from your film. Ask yourself what in their story might have produced that behavior. And then remind yourself, beneath the surface, we're all made of the same stuff. If this is landing for you, if the movie metaphor just explains something that you've been living through and couldn't name, would you please hit the like button? It helps other people navigating the same thing to find this video. This is chapter 7 of From Reactive to Resilient, because if you want the full framework and all the practices in sequence, this book is linked in the description below. Okay, let's go deeper. Now there's a difference, and this one matters, between unity and uniformity. Uniformity says we're only okay if we think the same, respond the same, see it in the same way. And if you've ever been inside a relationship or a family system or a workplace that operated on that principle, you know what it produces. It's not connection, it's compliance. Unity is something different. Unity says we don't have to be the same to belong to each other. We can carry completely different films and still find the common frame beneath them, the part of every person that wants to be heard, understood, or respected. And what if that's what every conflict is actually asking for? Not agreement, just that. That shift from trying to win to trying to understand, it doesn't make you soft, it makes you effective, because no one has ever been argued into genuinely changing. But plenty of people have shifted when they felt genuinely seen. Winning the argument and losing the person isn't winning. That's the awareness practice. Now, here's what you do with the body when it fires before the awareness does. Here's the practice, and I want you to actually try this, not just file it away. The next time irritation rises towards someone, a partner, a coworker, a family member, before you respond, do these 3 things. Feel your feet on the floor. Take one full, slow breath in and out, and then silently remind yourself, whatever they're carrying, it's from their movie, not mine to own or fix. That's it. 3 beats: feet, breath, and a reminder. It won't resolve the conflict on its own, but it creates enough space to respond from awareness instead of react from conditioning. And that gap, that's where connection actually lives. The person you're in conflict with right now, the one who frustrates you, who you feel like you can't reach, they're not broken, and neither are you. You're both just watching different films. And the moment you remember that, you stop fighting the person and you start trying to understand the story. That's not a small shift. That changes everything. Now, before you go, if this video named a dynamic you've been living inside, I want to hear about it. Which relationship came to mind? Tell me in the comments. I'll read every single one. And would you please hit the like button and subscribe? It helps other people navigating this and find the video. I'll see you in 2 weeks.